Today is May 13th, 2022, and today we have a great show for you. I'll be joined by one of uh, NDC's very well respected spokespersons in Yao. Offa Yao is the name. He's actually already in studio. I may also be joined by Paul Disosu and Afama Yao from the NPP and perhaps Kojo DC. And we are talking about Decision 2024 for the NDC. The NDC is going into their primaries today. They are letting the presidential candidate and their parliamentarian candidate as well. Let's take a quick break, and when we get back, I will introduce my guests and we will jump right into the discussion. Again, my name is Alfred Amuzu, and you are on the Ghana Agenda. And today is May 13th, 2023. We will be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. Again, my name is Afra Muzu. You are watching the Ghana Agenda, May 13th, and we are talking about the NDC going to their primaries to elect their presidential candidates and their parliamentarians candidates for the 2024 elections. We'll also touch on Galamsey, which is going to be our second topic, as to how we can solve it. We've heard so many scandals coming out, some straight out of the presidency. We want to touch base on. I mean, what is going on? Where is the fight on Galamsey? Over here, can you hear me?
Sure.
Okay, I think I'm getting some feedback from your audio. If you have any radio or something there, or if you're listening to me on your device, maybe you might want to turn that down. But welcome to the show. Of Fayao is joining me. He's representing the NDC. You've been on the show one time, and I believe is this the second time, or this is you've done a couple already.
Um. Yeah, I've been on the show just once. Today will be my second time, actually.
All right, we are happy to have you. And like I said earlier, today we are talking about the NDC going to do, electing their candidates for the 2024 elections. This is the first time that the NDC is actually doing both the parliamentary and the presidential together, primaries together. It used to be that they would do the parliamentary primaries and then take off a couple of months and go do the presidential. But this time around, they are doing it together. And I believe they are the first political party in Ghana to actually do this, at least under the fourth Republican, democracy. So how are things going? What have you been hearing? But before you do that, introduce yourself, since you haven't been here for a while, so people who may be watching you for the first time can identify you.
Okay, thank you very much. And uh, let me say my first greetings to you,
Yep.
and then I greet my co-panelists and also to our cherished listeners, including all NDC USA members, especially to my branch, New York branch members. Actually, I'm on fire that everybody knows. I think my co-panelist. Effa is on the show, right?
Yeah, he's coming.
I've met him. We will be meeting on different platforms.
Yes.
It's only here I met him once. Yeah. But on different platforms we do meet. So he knows me, I know him very well. He's my brother.
Yes.
Kojo DC is now a panel. He used to be a host, of which I have met him a couple of times in 2015, 16. So he knows me very well. So
Right.
actually, Fire is somebody that I may say everybody knows. And I used to be the former deputy youth organizer for NDC. Yes, Hello. I think I'm off air. Why?
All right, welcome back to the show. Again, we are on the Ghana agenda. Today's May 13th. I am joined by the bearded Lawrence Appear. We haven't seen him like this before, so we are grateful. When have you decided to leave your magical beers all white, intimidating us out of nowhere? What is going on?
No,
Dr.
as soon as Wafaya got married, I decided to leave my beard.
Yes, Ofaya got married. Congratulations, Ofaya. You were in you got married at the same time as Samiji and Fee, right? So we were asking what's going on.
Exactly. Oh,
Right.
I let me for this Amuzu, if I can use just 30 seconds. I never knew my boss would be coming to the show. That's
Yeah,
my
today
boss.
is I know today is NDC primaries, and therefore we want all the NDC big men to come in and tell us what's going on home.
Right.
I think I also now have Kojo DC who's on the road. Kojo DC, welcome to the show.
Amuzu, you've left the big men in NDC in their rooms and you have called us to be here. You just come and make some noise. The big men are in the room.
The big men. Where are they?
Wafaya and myself are just the small guys in the
no. You guys from what I've heard, you guys can hold your own. You guys are big also. So so today is a special day for the NDC, and we should be expecting some results coming in soon. But before we actually got to today, a lot has happened. We know there were allegations of some register not being properly compiled, that they had names that were, apparently females, but pictures will show as male, etc., etc. I don't know whose microphone is that, but okay, I believe that's Offayo. Offayo, your microphone is giving some feedback, so I put it on mute. When you are ready to talk, just take yourself off mute, okay? All right. So we had, there were some issues with the register. We had one of the candidates in person of Dr. Dufour, file an application in court for an injunction. So we were expecting that ruling to come down on Friday, but then he drew it, and then somebody else filed and also withdrew, and then all of a sudden, Doctor himself withdrew from the election. So it seemed like the last few days has been rocky for the NDC. Let me start from your boss, Offayo. Let me start from your boss, right? So I'm starting from Dr. Lawrence on this one. Dr. Lawrence, I don't know if I captured these things accurately or not, but you being the insider, what exactly is went on with the NDC? Why is register not properly done? We've had 8 years to get this right. So what happened?
No. Okay, let me say a good afternoon, a good evening, and a good morning to your viewers wherever they are.
Right.
And then you see, we didn't have 8 years to correct this and to make it right. What happened was that according to the law that I know of, as soon as a candidate is passed or a candidate goes through vetting, he is given the delegates list. That is those who will be qualified to vote. I don't know if Amuzu is on. I don't see him.
I'm on. I'm just trying to work on something in my background. So
Okay. Sorry about that.
Don't worry.
So my understanding is that once a candidate goes through vetting, he's given the delegates list. And this delegates list has been the one that was used for the branch the branch elections, the constituency elections, the regional elections, and then the national elections that was held on the 17th of December last year. And so that is the legal document that each candidate who passed should go through. Now, I think NDC wanted to do something in addition. NDC wanted to do something spectacular. NDC wanted to go beyond what we normally do by adding the voter, the pictures of those who are qualified to vote. And that was where the issues came up, because what actually happened was that,
right,
to be honest with you, the photo ID album didn't get done on time.
Okay.
So my understanding was that because the voter, the picture album didn't get done on time, the Dr. Dufour camp thought that there was something fishy. So they would take the matter to court and get it rectified. As a matter of fact, my understanding even was that either immediately before the court on Friday or before the court Friday, they were going to get them the photo ID that they were asking for. And then fortunately, unfortunately, I would say fortunately, in the morning of the court date, which was Friday, yesterday, yeah, they went to court. Everybody was ready to listen to what happened. And then when the opportunity was given to the lawyers of Dr. Dufour to make their presentation, that was when they told the court that they are withdrawing the case application that they brought to the court. Okay, and so, I mean, everybody thought, okay, well, there is peace, there is unity, blah blah blah, and everybody was happy. And then the unfortunate things happened later in the afternoon. We saw some, as a matter of fact, I didn't believe it. I thought some MPP guys were doing it. We saw some write-up from Dr. Dufour himself saying that he's withdrawing from the race.
Right.
So, and to me, it was a bigger shocker. I didn't expect it. I didn't like it. I didn't want it to happen. But hey, I mean, he has a team, and whoever is advising him, advised him not to contest. And right now, we don't know why he withdrew from the case, and we don't know his next steps. That is what some of us are very anxious to know. So it didn't take us 8 years to get to where we were. The delegates list was accurate, was updated, and we gave it to all those candidates who crossed the line to be elected. But like I said, NDC wanted to go the extra mile by adding the photo album to it, which I'm sure there were issues with it, because I'm sure the time they thought they could finish it wasn't right. So there were some hitches. I don't know. No one has told me that. But looking at what happened from Dufour's camp, it's very, very likely that some technical issues went on that prevented the photo album to be completed on the time that maybe they thought they would have finished it, and that caused the whole brouhaha that we are discussing right now.
Okay, great. We also joined by Afa Mayao. Thanks for joining, Afa. So let me bring Ofayao onto this one. Ofayao, I don't know if you had the opportunity to. First of all, I have you on mute, so if you're getting ready to talk, just take yourself off mute. Ofayao, I don't know if you listened to Dufour yesterday after he pulled out. He has some things to say. He made it clear that there were conversations with the party leadership. There was a meeting chaired by the former Speaker of Parliament, Joe Ajaho himself, and a decision was made that a committee would have been put together to look into the issues of the register. Now, it seems what I just hear from your senior is that there is a main register which it's separate from the album, which is the basis of the court case that he's filed. But then in his remarks, he said there was a committee put together by leadership to look into the album, fix the problems that he identified in the album, and then prepare and then kind of distribute it back to the team so that he and the others can fairly contest. But right after that meeting, leadership went ahead to organize a press conference to say the election is coming on regardless of whatever, and that is one of the reasons why he's pulling out. Did you have the opportunity to listen to him? And if you did, I'm saying you guys were in opposition for 8 good years, right? That is where my 8 years is coming from. I mean, I know you just recently changed leadership, and so maybe perhaps this is a new thing that the leadership wanted to do. But you had 8 years to compile and register and run your primaries. I mean, should the MPP be wrong when they are saying you are incompetent and you couldn't even put a simple thing as a register together? Take yourself off mute if you don't mind.
Air now.
All right, good.
I'm on air, right?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Thank you very much. Once again, let me say hi to our cherished listeners and viewers. Like I think I wouldn't have much to say about it because I have said everything, but at least I have to add my little views. With regards to ever made our what we call our comrade to force to send the case to court, like you stated it and Dr. have also stated it. You know, what we're trying to do is something that we're trying to add as an additional something. It isn't something that is even all that necessary because we go by the delegate list, like my boss have stated already. Isn't it?
Right.
It is the same list we used last year for our what do you call it, national election, and Mr. Doctor himself is aware of this. So if we are trying to add something to it to make it more colorful, I don't think this should have even be a problem, isn't it? Because he's aware that the same list is delegate list we use, and that list was used to elect our national executive. He is aware of it. He even voted. I'm very sure he voted in last year, December. So if we are trying to add something and the thing is not yet, everything is not added up yet, I don't see the reason why he should have gone to court. But anyway, he has the right to do that, and he did that. Okay. After filing for it, and then you said because that photo album doesn't give up, and they were trying to put that thing together, and finally the day of the court, the thing was done and it was presented to your lawyers and what we call your legal team and whatsoever, and they have seen that they have no case again. Have you seen it? So if they have no case again, and because of that we can proceed with our elections, I see no reason why you may pull out because we had a conference, we have a press conference by national executives, our national delegates, trying to say that the election will come up today. Because the election will come up today because the problem has been rectified. Is that not so, Amuzu? Is that not this problem? Is that not because of this? That's why you took the case to court. And luckily, to that problem was they were able to tackle it, and your legal team have gotten whatever you were looking for. So why do you then complain that because after that they went to announce that the thing will come also, I'm withdrawing from the race? That is where I don't get it. Because it has nothing to do with you withdrawing. Go into the race because you raised an what do you call it? An album issue, and the thing has been rectified. So it has nothing to going to what the race that you are in already. That because of that, I'm not going to.
It doesn't appear that the album was rectified. There's nowhere that it was seen that the album was rectified. I mean, as we speak, are you sure? Are you aware that the album has been rectified?
So that is why we are saying that, like you stated and Doctor said it, those problems that because of that made him to go to court. I think it was rectified. That's why his legal team, he himself decided to do what, to lift out the case, right?
I think he said he drew the case. He drew the case so he can do internal consultation. He didn't withdraw the case because it was solved.
He withdrew it because he wanted them to handle it internally. Is that what he's trying to say? Okay, correct. If you want to handle it internally, and as I stated earlier, and Doctor have also stated it, normally we don't go by this album issue. We go by the delegate list. So once the delegate list is there and everything is intact, we can proceed to have our election. If that is how you want it, then we can settle that. So I see no reason why he will base his argument on that because of that I'm pulling out of the race. But let me go this way. You know, for the flag bearership, right? Mm-hmm. Before you even join the race, you have to weigh yourself because NDC is a big political party. In the first place, let me just praise him for what he has done, taking the bold step to far to become a presidential candidate. This is going to be something that we shall all remember in the future because Kwabena Duffuor also filed for a presidential candidate, went for vetting, passed through vetting, and if I were to be him, I would have continued to the end and see, even if I'm last, it's going to be on record how many people would have owned up to vie for presidential candidate in the NDC. It's not easy like that.
Right.
So this could have been a record for us for years, for generations to come and read. In 20 years to come, we will know that we come now before contested for 2024 flag bearership. It's a feather in his cap. It's a mark for him. Have you seen it? So
Right.
if you have detected that the race that you are trying to go, it will not end you anywhere. I think for me, I see it from that angle because already he has seen that it will not take him anywhere.
Okay.
So if this is the situation and that thing he has seen that it's rectified, then why not come out, pull out?
Okay.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, he knows he's not going to emerge winner, and that is
Okay.
how.
So you think all the charade was because he wasn't going to emerge the winner, and therefore he pulled out and kind of caused all this knee-jerk reaction
Sure.
over this couple of days. All right. Great. Now let me bring in the opposition. Ofayao, thanks for those spirited and the clarifications. Let me bring in Kojo DC. Kojo DC. The NDC seems to kind of pioneer something very important here. I think the NPP is actually even looking at that and thinking perhaps that may be the way going forward. What I mean is that they were able to organize their presidential and parliamentary primaries together on the same day. Unlike the NPP, which I'm sure they are still going to have separate primaries, the MDC has been able to put the two together. It saves cost, is more efficient. I'll bet all the kind of issues we've seen in the last few days. Now, don't you see a strong opposition in the NDC with all the way they were able to kind of organize this thing, no matter what cases were supposed to even try to threaten the election and stuff? It looks like everything is going full force. Do you commend the NDC for the leadership they've shown here with regards to organizing a primary and having it successfully executed?
All right. First of all, can
Yes,
you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you clearly.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Lawrence, calling me against me now, but you said you're
It actually looks good, right?
What fire out?
Yeah.
I worry, yeah, and me imagine say, Mr. Media, my body said.
As a matter of fact, it's looking very
It
good
does.
on you.
It
Like,
does.
it's been a while.
Okay, this will make
Actually,
this will make me jealous.
I know. And to my boss, in fact, long time no see. I went to Ghana. I just
Okay.
came back, so that's what you can see me. And on fire, long time
Sure.
no see. He only calls and backs me up, but that's fine. All right, thank you, Amuzu. Greetings to all the panel members, yourself, and thanks for hosting the show, and then the viewers as much as you know. First of all, for any political party to be able to organize such an event is recommendable, right? So I will do so and say kudos to the NDC being able to, because we have a lot of political parties, with the exception of the major two political parties, which is the NDC, in sort of this, right? So that is one. I would have said the nominee that I can do FIASM, but I can't be FIASM in the sense that they are somehow, if there should be any change of government, we all know the NDC will be the other coming to power. It has always been that. So I should be able to put my sense into whatever that they do, whatever that the parties organize. I should put myself. Concerning what you asked me, if they are able to both organize the parliamentary and the presidential, I think in some way it's good, in some way it's bad, and I can explain that. Because as of now, we'll be having the election in 2024, right?
Right.
And then if, let's for instance, we've seen what had transpired in some voting patterns that have been going on in Parliament. If, for instance, we have only about 47 incumbents that are going unopposed, there's about 212 constituencies. that are going to be having an elections. There are about 16 of them, which is going to be held and is going to be laid down because of some grievances within the party, which is the NDC. So let's, for instance, say out of the 212, you lost maybe 12 incumbents.
Mm-hmm.
You think they are going to have time to sit in parliament all the time? That is why we had the master plan as the NPP. We do. Make sure our election was pushed, especially to the parliamentary, pushed to that far in order for us to be able to do the affairs of the Ghanaians. And this is really going to disturb Parliament, to be frank with you, unless most of the incumbents are able to sustain and come back. Other than that, trust me, they know they are not coming back on the 9th Parliament. So on that end, I thought the NDC did not have that. Either it's a good intention or bad intention, or whatever the cost they wanted to cut, it's really going to affect them. And I don't know how good it's going to turn within their fortunes in 2024. And for me, I like it, because the more there's disorganization in the NDC, the better is for me in the NPP. So you understand. So I am just praying that a lot of the incumbent falls, so that we can have our masterpiece. Most of them will not be coming to. We can pass our bills through, so we can govern the country very well. Now let me go to what had happened. So I think all that had happened to Dr. Dufour is just that one thing. The NDC or the executive, I've always said the presumptive presidential candidate, which is the former president, the Secretary John Dramani Mahama. And in their minds, they think for John Mahama to be very credible, at least he has to gain 98% of the vote that is going to be cast. So for Dufour to come in, who's going around talking about the grassroots, the branches, which is the NDC, that they have a branch executive we are going to take.
All right, I think we are having some sound issues with Kojo. While we wait for him to... All right, Afa, you want to... Yeah, Kojo, your sound is coming bad.
Yeah, I think he got to a point. He got to a place where the network is weak.
He got into a patch.
Right.
Okay, no problem.
So he's driving, so we should pardon him for that.
Okay, no problem. So, Afa, take it over. Afa, I want to ask you this, right? What do you think is going on in the NDC? Do you think here it is just that Komla Dufour, of course, realized that he's fighting a losing battle, and instead of going out quietly, he decided to kind of ruffle a little bit of shoulders, kind of show as though he's being cheated or something untoward is happening? Because this register thing, I mean, if you're trying to lead a party, you should be internal enough to know what is going on, how the register is even being compiled. I mean, this is not something that because it appears he's an outsider who has no clue how this register was even being put together. As a candidate running to represent the party, shouldn't you be kind of involved in the process? Should you be waiting till the end? And so the indication few people I speak to are picking is, it appears he just knows he's not going to win this thing, and he didn't want to go out quietly. Do you have the same impression?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Amuzu, for this opportunity. Yeah, it's been a long time. I didn't see my big boss.
He's coming.
He's lost Dr. Forgive me. Completely. Man,
Dr. Dufour.
No. I'm talking
Dr. Lawrence. Dr. Lawrence is looking different.
I missed him. So I was gonna say, we have a new panel on our this and now, and then so immediately his name was mentioned. I said, wow, oh man, you look changed. But it's Grace though. to have gray hair and to live it and to be proud of it, that's nice. It comes with wisdom and a lot of things, and I know that as time goes on, you will let us have a lot of it, other than the other, the other. And that's just by the way, though.
Right.
So let's get on to this thing. So elections have a lot of components to it. Okay, so you, as a candidate, as a contestant,
Mhm.
you avail your team to deal with various aspects of the campaigning, compilation, fundraising, and all that kind of stuff. So, but when it comes to certain things that should be official from the party, you can't do speculation. Even when you have information, unless you have the documents to yourself, you cannot say, for instance, go out there when you've not been issued with a list or with an album or whatever it is, and then come up with a. So, yes, Dufour is an old man in the game. He had a team that was, but had these old folks, experienced guys in there, but you cannot jump ahead of the horse. You have to wait for the horse to tell you this and this and that before you make any official statement. Other than that, it will be misconstrued as speculations and stuff like that. So let's deal with specifically what it says in withdrawal. Now, you see, one of the things we all have to accept is that the court is also part of our processes. You see, I would rather he uses that other than use other means, because that is a civilized way to deal with issues. And the whole point has to do with mistrust, and there's an obvious mistrust in there. From and somebody observing from it looks as if everything was being done to favor Mahama. And I sit down and I analyze the thing, and I said, for what though? Why does it seem so? Now, there was no way he was going to win. Okay? But it was good for the competition of it, so that we test the popularity of the candidate. Because Kojo Bonsu wasn't going to pull any this thing, because he wasn't coming. Kojo Bonsu is just representing in there. But Dufour was going to kind of, made an impression. And it was important for the party to have, done things in such a way as to show the fairness and inclusion. It was as if whatever steps that was being taken to resolve the issue raised by the Dufour camp was met with some form of resistance, for what reason best known to the people that were resisting. Okay, so if you look at all that was happening, and
The issue Dufour is raising, however, is that the album that was provided was inaccurate. However, the party is saying the album is just a courtesy document that we've compiled to aid identification of the delegates. The real register has been provided to you.
so you see, yes, so they have the bigger one, and they have the one that they provided for them, the delegates. Obviously, it wasn't everybody that was going to be part of that album. Yes, when it was provided for them, they identified some issues, and these things happen everywhere. It is not like only in the NDC; it happens at the national level and all those places. So when it happens like that, you sit down and you fix it. What's significant? Names change and all that kind of stuff. I mean, today people have been arrested. I don't know how many, but so far we've heard of Ningo Pram Pram. People will always try to double to, because everybody have their preferences. So you sit down and fix it. Now, according to Mr. Dufour, yes, there was a meeting, and they had a terms of reference, an agreement to fix. And some people decided we're not going to go ahead with any fixing. We're just going to go ahead with and that in itself is it's something that is not fair,
Right.
So, but for me, you see, sometimes leaders may have a reason for doing these things, and you need to communicate all these things. Yes, he may have identified these discrepancies. It is due to that and that and that reason. That is why. So let's look at the numbers. You see, sometimes you take statistical analysis. Oh, okay, so this number is not so significant as to, because you can't have foolproof in any human endeavor. So this number is not significant, but it looks as if to them, when they sat down and they had a meeting, the number was significant, for which something ought to be done. So that is not fair. And you see, even if he was going to lose, let him lose honorably. For him to sit down and identify certain things, have a meeting, and for all of you to have come to this conclusion that, yeah, this is a problem that needs to be fixed before the meeting, and you don't do it, he feels some way not heard, and that the process wasn't fair, and then he has to pull out. That is something. But what I want to say to this is that the NDC has come a long way in terms of young guys and people that have come in that hitherto were few. I mean, now there has been a lot of people that are coming in. But the old practice of we're going to bamboozle people and stuff like that is still seen, especially at the presidential level. I think at the parliamentary level, they are not able to do that. But there is a sense of, if you watch from Rawlings all the way right now to Mahama this time, there is not that they don't want to allow a lot of people to really come to the top. If you look at the people that have contested in the past, and each time that there's a contestant, we know who the presumptive leader to be, and it looks as if things are worked out to favor that presumptive leader, and that is really not fair. You see, the essence of the competition is that we must always have a situation where, like happened in Mills, and then there's an alternative. It shouldn't be that unopposed, or the people that are even contesting are not really significant, that when we get to this bridge, we're going to cross it from there. At all times, you ought to be prepared. And the competition at the top, you ought to open it up, allow people to come in there, don't kill people's enthusiasm, don't kill people's potency, and don't kill whatever people having to come and exhibit. That is what you've been doing to Dufour. You've been doing to people at various presidential primaries, and you need to take a serious look at that. And also, I think the leaders, when elections are being held for national leaders, we all know that people try to get their people in there. But once you get elected as a secretary, as a chairman, as constituency, this and that, you need to remain neutral and organize the thing in such a way that it's fair. Dufour was not treated fairly. But it was good for him to withdraw this thing, especially the court case. It will help,
right?
Because you don't know what the outcome will be and all that. So the NDC did a great job over there.
Right.
The issue that you put, I think, is they organizing it one day is good, but all these things, has their pros and cons and stuff like that. But it is cost effective, and it's very important.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah. So let me come back to Doc again. Doc.
You didn't want me to finish mine? I know I went off.
Yeah. Okay. Take a quick 1 minute and finish so we can move. But I'll come back to you and give you a lot of time for the next issue.
Then go to Doc. 1 minute wouldn't help, so go to Doc.
Oh, take two.
Give him 3.
2 is
Doc,
fine.
yeah, he's always my friend. You see, where I ended, I said what my brother Ifa just said. Just everything that this election is about, especially the presidential election, is to have some confidence in the former president. And the reason all this machination was going on is simple. The Dufour, like Ifa said, there was no way Dufour was going to win. There was no way Kojo Bonsu was going to win. But what the NDC, especially the executive, the now elected executive, wanted to avert is that they don't want Mahama to have anything, because according to them, Mahama is going to, and I've said Mahama is not disrespectfully, just to make it to former President Mahama. So I just members to listeners to know, the former president, let me say it so if that will make it sense, to be able to gain at least 90 plus 98% of the vote. From the way things were going on the defense camp and the kind of campaigning they were making inroads. So the only thing that would derail those inroads was the frustration. If you promise an election, we all know your constitution says that the album, the registers that is used, there's nowhere that states that they are going to be provided with an album. But this is where I disagree with my director. NDC recently said they've registered online. They've done everything digital. How do you register people online with your digital registration without having pictures of the people? How was that done?
But yeah, this is
I
not.
remember
But if I can,
it was the same. It was the same amount that was used for branch. Is that not it? It was the same as used for constituencies. It was the same that was used for regional. It was the same thing that was used for national. So, what didn't they have that? If you didn't have it, and the nationals were elected, I think 4 months ago, right? Why we're not able to provide that album? If you say so, and you tell people who have paid 500,000 Ghana cedis to run as a flag bearer, and you say we are going to provide you an album, and then 2 days prior to the election, you give me, I'll say, oh, I can provide you 200. What about this 75 other constituencies that is left? So if you can't do something, you don't promise it to do it. And that is the problem. The problem is not like Dupo was going to win, but the problem was, let's do anything that will show that the former president will not lose again on the third time. So please, in order for us to do that, let's say make sure delegates have confidence in the former president.
let me ask
And
you.
that
I
is
think
the only.
let me ask you this: what would getting 98%? What impact would that have on the presidential election for Mahama?
Yes, you see, it's not me saying it. It's the executive constituent executive chairman, 16 regional chairman that all have supported the former president that are saying that nobody is going to even have 1% of the vote. President Mahama is going to have 98% of the vote. And if in saying so, if he's not able to do that, they know we are going to jump on it. Even his own delegates, which is formerly just the NDC members, don't even have any belief in the former president. And that is what they are trying to avoid. That's all.
Okay. Thank you so much. Dr. Lawrence, my next question is, this is new. This is new to us, right? There's not a single time in the history of Ghana where, matter of fact, in the Fourth Republic, where we have a former president running. Okay. And so when that happens, of course, this type of allegiance is gonna emerge, because it's true that since he left government in 2016, there was a clear plan that he wants to come back. He has expressed the interest. I mean, nobody else was allowed to come close to the presidential candidacy of the NDC. The last time, what is the name? The last time Ekos Piogaba tried, we know how that went. So this is new to us, right? Is this making the NDC an undemocratic party? Can the NDC survive this going forward? Because it looks like besides Mahama, there's nobody else. The guy who's running against him now, Dr. Dufour, will not be able to run the next 4 years because he's almost 80-something years old. You can even, when you listen to him yesterday speak, you realize that he should be actually watching his grandchildren rather than trying to be president. So, of course, he's not going to be trying to run the next 4 years. There is a vacuum being created. Do you agree?
No. I don't agree to the fact that a vacuum is being created. And you see, even though President Mahama is a former president who is trying to come back, I mean, NDC has always allowed the process to take place. NDC has always allowed the process to be free and fair and as much as possible transparent.
Right.
You understand? So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the former president coming back and running from his party. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And there is nothing wrong with anybody competing him. And of course, even 2020, is it 20 or 2016?
Right.
2016 was when Spiel Gabriel and Professor Alabi Dems.
No, 2016 he was still an incumbent, right? So I don't think he was competed. Did you guys? That was 2020.
Then it will be 2020 when they all those
No,
guys.
no. In 2016 is when George something when they declared him to be a mad person. You remember?
wasn't no, that was I think 2012. But you see, the point I'm trying to make is that I mean, since he left office and wanted to come back, NDC has been transparent. NDC has always tried to be free and fair when it comes to elections. I mean, internal elections. And so far as I am concerned, they haven't given any preferential treatment to the former president. I mean, they allow anybody who wanted to compete him come on board. Right. They leave the money for everybody to pay. They vet anybody who files. And so far as I'm concerned, they have approved all the qualified people who ought to be approved to compete with him. So I mean, that's what I would say about it. But
it's not so much of allowing anybody to file, because constitutionally you should be allowed to. I mean, if you don't allow the people to file, you would be offending the law, right? Or if you don't allow people to run, you'll be offending the law. But it is where the entire executive team would clearly, and unequivocally states their position that it's Mahama and nobody else. And this has been happening since 2020 to today. These are the referees. These are going to be the people who you have to do the filing through. These are the people who will be giving you the registers, etc. So if they all align themselves with one person, it is not healthy for the party, is it?
It is. I mean, even the electoral commissioners vote. Do you understand? The electoral commissioners, they vote, which means that every Ghanaian has a right to vote. And of course, if you have a right to vote, it means you have a choice. And if you have a choice and you prefer to declare your choice, not bringing in the whole party, but you as an individual, I can say, okay, I'm Dr. Lawrence, I'm the national organizer of the, NDC Ghana, but I am making a decision, or I've made my decision to vote as Dr. Lawrence, as an individual for President Mahama. That has got nothing to do with the party. I mean, the party is completely separated from you as an individual. You as an individual who is, trying to declare your support for a candidate. Sometimes it can create tension. I mean, we know some regional chairmen, who are regional chairmen in both NDC and MPP who have declared their support for a particular candidate. I mean, a whole regional chairman or a whole district, whatever it is. So personally, I don't see anything wrong with that. And the vacuum that you are saying is being created, as a matter of fact, I don't see NDC creating in a vacuum, apart from President Mahama, because we have young guys who are coming up after Mahama. Of course, we have Professor Jane Opoku Ajimai, who might not even go for that. I mean, if Mahama wins 2024 to
by the time that time is over, she'll probably be, how old is she right now? She's probably near her 70s, right?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying, that she might not even contest for the presidential slots in case Mahama wins 2024 and then we go into 2028. So, I mean, Mahama himself said it in Northern Region that apart from him, if he goes away, there are a lot of people who are behind him. This is his generational time for somebody like his age to come and represent the party and become president and, bring the country where it's supposed to be. But once he goes out, we have all these young guys. I don't want to mention any names because I don't know who are listening. But I mean, we know that we have young, vibrant guys who will be coming after Mama. I mean, 2028 is going to be an interesting year in Ghana's elections because MPP will present a new candidate, NDC will present a new candidate. So,
well, the reason I'm saying that is if you look at MPP right now, there is Baumia, there is Alain Chamartin. You might say maybe 2028 Alain Chamartin, if he's not lucky enough this year, he wouldn't come back in 2028. But Baumia definitely 2028 is going to be on the ballot.
Amuzu, one of them, either Dr. Baumia or
Japan. Yeah.
No. I mean, either Baumia or Alain Chamartin, one of them's political career is going to end on November 5, 2023.
Yeah.
One of them. Once you lose, you are out. Do you see? And I don't even want to predict, but let me say this. If Baumia wins to be the flag bearer of the MPP in November, and he loses the general elections, he's not coming back because Ghanaians would have known how deceitful he is, and that was why they voted against him in these elections. So he's not coming back. I mean, he will be a damaged good. He'll be a damaged property that he's not.
But Atta Mills came back even though he lost.
No. Atta Mills didn't lie to anybody in Ghana, and that was why
the issue of lie depends on which political. Party you are with, because after 8 years things change. I mean, when Mahama was living in 2016, everybody was saying he was corrupt. I mean, today we all say something different, right? Because
I don't want to even go into MPP politics unless you bring it up. Right now, we are dealing with NDC. But all that I'm trying to say is that if Baumia wins the primary elections in November, Alain Chamartin is not coming back anymore. He's done for his political career. And if Baumia doesn't win the 2024 presidential elections, he is also done. So what I'm saying is that when it happens like that, NDC is going to present a new candidate because John Mahama cannot come back for the third time, and Baumia is gone, Alain Chamartin is gone. So they would also, that is why you see people like Jogate, like Kwabene Japan, and those kind of people. They know they can't win these particular elections, but they want to prepare themselves for the next election, which will be 2028. That's all that they are trying to do. I mean, especially the young ones in the NPP. They know they won't win these elections. These elections is all about Baumia and Alain Chamartin. If Alain Chamartin wins, chances are that he might come back in 2028, but that will be the end of Dr. Baumia. But if Dr. Baumia wins, Alain Chamartin has ended his political career. Baumia will not come back in 2028 because he will be a damaged good. And so they will have to bring a new face and a new candidate to face that new face and the new candidate that will be coming from NDC. So, I mean, to answer your question, there isn't any vacuum that is being created because Mahama is the one who is coming up all the time. At the end of the day, 2028, both parties will present new candidates, and I can assure the people of Ghana that we are going to have a very interesting. I mean, Wafaya from NDC can also present himself, you know. So 2028 is going to be a very interesting election year, and Ghanaians should be prepared for the better.
Wafaya, let me ask you this. I mean, I know that there's a USA chapter of NDC. I don't know if there are delegates from here as well who will be representing the chapter. Are you aware of something like that? Okay, you were mute. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We can't hear you, Wofaya.
We cannot hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Were you asking whether we have a delegate representing us
We
in
also
Ghana?
participate in this type. Yes.
In this election
Correct.
going on? Sure, we people will go because they had election recently, so it means we have people representing us in the USA. So definitely they will be there.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a substantive question. I guess the question is, I think I was trying to get this out of FR, but it didn't come out, very well. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, what could have been the motivation for Komina Dufour? Do you also believe that it's just because the man is losing? That is why he did all these court cases things, or really there is an issue? Because if there's a register that we all agree, and that was given to him when he was vetted, then why would he even go to court over an album that he knows will not be the official document that will be used to identify the delegates when they come to vote?
Okay, thank you very much. Like I stated it, I made it clear here. I told you he knows very well that he was not going to win the election. And it's a matter of fact. It's a matter of fact, point blank. There's no way he's going to win this election. I don't even think he can make 1%.
Right.
But I was trying to say that if I were to be him, I would have continued with the race because it's going to be a mark for him.
Right.
It's going to be a feather in his cap because NDC is a big political party. And it takes only people who have the courage to come out and take form, file, go through vetting to become the flag bearer. For me, he has done very well. And for the man, as a matter of fact, he will never win. I don't even think he will make 1%. Even look at it, Abuzu. His own son didn't believe the father would win. The son is contesting for parliamentary primaries in one of the constituencies.
Yes, I heard.
And look at the whole scenario. Your father is contesting. He never used the father to make his flyer. He used President Mahama because he knows obviously President Mahama will win. The flyer he used President Mahama. Why is it that his own son didn't use his father's this thing and say, "Oh, vote for me. I'm number one and my father is number two." He used President Mahama.
Right.
That tells you that his own son doesn't believe that the father will emerge winner, and the father himself is aware.
Right.
So, for him pulling out,
but
it's just that
the issue is the party members have not given him a day a day of you haven't given me the opportunity to present himself to you and show you haven't given him the chance to present himself as a viable alternative. I think the mind was already made that it's going to be Mahama.
The fact is, okay, let me delve into that matter. That was the question you posed to my boss.
Yes.
Yeah. President Mahama is somebody most of us didn't know him in the country. Let me put it that way. Until he became the president, the vice president, and then finally president.
Mama was as an assemblyman. He's been in politics.
No. I mean, when you are assemblyman and those that we don't see you, but I'm saying
he was assemblyman, then became a minister.
Yeah, he became assemblyman and became minister and became an MP and became minister. I'm talking about that. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that coming to represent the country at the bigger stage as president, everything. And looking at the work that he did for the country within the period of 4 years, even I may say it's even 3.5 years because he was taken to court for 9 months. Everything. The unprecedented work that he did for the country, infrastructure and everything. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the country can attest to this fact. So you feel like, who is this man? Who is this Messiah that God has given to Ghana? I'm telling you for the actual fact. If you compare under Republic, for me, I was growing up under the Fourth Republic. I've seen Rawlings 1 and 2. That's when I was growing up. Kufuor 1 and 2. Tamus and so they have all done well. I keep on saying. But if you compare Mahama stands tall among all of them. Have you seen it? His work for the development of our country is unprecedented. So everybody wants, why why is it that such a person was denied the second term? We want people that will put the country into a good shape, create jobs for the people. And all that he was doing was to create jobs. Building 200 secondary schools.
Commander took our GDP to almost 12%.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll come there.
Mm-hmm.
When he was doing all those things, our brothers in the opposition said, no, meanwhile, for the actual fact, he was doing the right thing. It was when he was kicked out of power that Ghanaians realized that no, all that they were saying about the man, it wasn't right. But rather his work was gearing towards the betterment of our country. Have you seen it? That is when people started crying that this man, we need him again. So all the people, it's not even only NDC people who asking Mahama to come. Even people who are neutral, people who are floating voters, are asking Mahama to come back. Yes.
You know very well that it doesn't take one person to do the work.
Thank you very much. I am aware that it doesn't take one person to do it, but your policy, it's your policies. Are you getting it? You are the driver holding the steer. So your policies and plans that you bring on board, that will change the whole thing. Have you seen it? Now let me come to Komna Dufour. Komna Dufour was saying that during his time, we had single digits. Let me say it clear over here. The time that he became the bank of he became the finance minister, right? Under President Mills, who was the president by then. Who was the head of the management of the economic team? It wasn't Mahama. And we know that the head of the management of the economic team is the one who champions every policy, who champions every cause, bring everything on board. Before you, the finance minister, will implement it. That is why, so when there is any success, it should be accredited to that person, the head of the economic management. And that was Mahama. So if he said it like you are saying, we had single digit of that, fine. But who was your boss? Mahama he was accounting to Mahama. That is why today we are saying that Bahomia is a failure. He shouldn't even go near the presidential race. Because all the mess we are going through, all the problems we are going through, everything, Bahomia is the one supervising. So where Kotenofurata borrowing 120 to 600 billion, Bahomia is aware. Have you seen it? Our economic this is moving from the credit union, downgrading up from when we're in power, it was B-. They say incompetent. It is C, junk. Have you seen it? And Bahomia supervised this. So today he said he wants to run for presidency. Have you seen the whole thing now? Like my boss said, we are waiting for him. They should let him win the flag bearer and we'll sing his own song to him. Are you getting it? So if Dufour is saying that Amuzama on air.
I got you.
Thank you. If Dufour is saying that yes, during his time he had one single digit, he is right. But he was accounting to somebody, and it was through somebody's policy, and that's Mahama for you. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not that we are trying to hail Mahama too much, but the good people of Ghana, not only the NDC, it cuts across board all the political parties. They are yearning for Mahama to come just because of the good work he did for the country. If you go to any corner of our 16 regions in Ghana, you can see something, feel, touch, and smell about President Mahama. And that is gearing towards the betterment of our country. And this is what everybody wants. That is how America was built. Have you seen it? So they want him to come and continue that good work and then let the country develop. Unlike our brothers, Akufo-Addo, who tell him incompetent. Today, if you are comparing Mahama and Akufo-Addo, Mahama was incompetent. What word shall we use to qualify Akufo-Addo? He doesn't even come near the word incompetent. This is I use the word here that you may not like.
Let's go for.
I need an adjective, but I won't use that.
Okay, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to switch to Galamsey because our time is fast going. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. You are on the Ghana agenda for May 13, 2023. We are talking about the NDC today and also Galamsey, how we can solve that. I'm getting some preliminary results here. My understanding is Edem Agbana of has won Ketu North. Jifago Mashi, my understanding is has been retained. I'm also not sure about Anglogan, which I'm also monitoring that whether Amelia Amedela has won or not. That I would verify. Have you guys heard anything so far? Who's winning where?
Yeah.
No?
Um,
I heard Sam George also retained his seat. I'm
Okay.
not too sure, but
and
I heard
I,
about it. And then
I
I
also
heard
heard about. Okay, Doc, to continue.
and I heard that Pando, the incumbent, lost at Pando.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I think that was seen. You know, they saw it coming.
Right.
That the incumbent in Pando is going to lose. But Alfred, let me 2 seconds. Let me talk about Dr. Dufour's withdrawal from the race. You see, I wish NDC would not talk so much about it or condemn him so much about it, because I think certain things might have gone on behind the scenes for him to withdraw. Either he has been promised something, you know, a position that he has put forward, that if Mahama becomes president, he wants that position. Maybe he has been promised that, I don't know. Or in his mind, he thinks that this is the time for him to form his own political party and you know, think of how he's going to rebrand himself and take some votes from the NDC so that NDC never becomes never comes to power, or some other thing, including, I personally don't think he withdrew because he thought he was being treated unfairly.
Right.
I'm sure there might be some talks, or maybe some things angered him and he decided that, no, take your party, I'm not part of it anymore. So we have to wait a little bit for the storms to come down and then see his next move. His next move is actually going to be the determining factor.
You think he might go independent candidate?
Well, it's possible. I mean, the law allows that, you know. So this is what I'm saying, that NDC should not jubilate, NDC should not insult him, NDC should not talk about it so much until we hear his next move. And when he was withdrawing, I don't think he made any indication as to how he is going to lead his life after tomorrow. So let's I mean, if I have a voice in the NDC, I would tell them to relax for now until we hear the next move of Dr. Kwabena before we can actually begin to talk about it. Because I mean, right now we don't know why he pulled out, and his
well, he told you why he pulled out. So I don't understand what you mean by you don't know why he pulled out. He made it clear that he's pulling out because of you know, the posture of the executive, where an agreement was reached for the register to be updated, the album to be updated, and a committee was put together to do
Mr. Muzu, that could be a reason for the cameras, you know. And this is what I'm telling you. I mean, we have to just wait until we see his next move before we can begin to sing or we can begin to cry. Because I mean, Dr. Dufour pulling out at the 11th hour is not something NDC should take it lightly. Because he's gone around the whole country, so he might have some people supporting him. No, so if he decides to go independent, definitely it's going to hurt NDC, and we shouldn't take it lightly. And we have also said that 2024 is going to be a do or die, which meant that whether we like it or not, we have to win 2024. So any candidate going independent or forming a party or whatever it is, it would not be a good thing for the NDC. So
Right.
that is what I've said. And talking about the parliamentary elections, like I said, I heard some George retain the seat, and then I heard the Pando woman to loss, and they, like I said, I heard it coming, and I also heard that they think they have what do you call it, elected somebody very competitive for Hohoi, where this man is.
Who's doing Huawei? Isn't that
Amewu for the
oh,
MP.
Amewu? Okay.
Amewu is in Hohoi.
Okay.
So they are saying that they think they have elected somebody very competitive to.
Where is this guy running at? What is his name? Richard.
Richard.
Oh, the deputy international guy. What is his name? The deputy international.
Fred Agbenyo.
Fred Agbenyo.
Fred Agbenyo is
Oti.
Sir, yes. Fred Agbenyo is Sir,
okay.
which they haven't created according to the Electoral Commission. There's no constitution called, there's no constituency called Sir for them to hold any elections, but they have put before Parliament.
I think there has been already. They already gazetted it. I think they are waiting for something to be announced. It's almost,
yeah, that's
almost
what I was. That was what I was going to say. So I think the Electoral Commission is very confident that by December 2024, that's Santro Kofi, those people will have their own constituency, and Fred Agbenyo is going for that constituency.
Okay.
So, and I don't know if he has any competition, but I think whatever it is, I hope and I'm sure Fred will win. And there are other results that are very interesting. And at the end of the day, we'll know of all of it. And NDC will be a very strong party, and NDC will be the winner.
And I can also attest to Dr. Tufuo Tema West. I'm on his platform, so he has won. Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Tufuo.
Tufuo.
Okay, great. Okay, so if the results are coming in, guys, whether if you know any, please also help us. And those watching and listening,
Proverb man, heard has been booted out. Dr. Kobna Donko has also been booted out.
Oh wow!
And I'm told Tano South, Asiedun Ketia's son has won. Janato has retained it.
Okay.
And, I think others are coming in, and we'll see.
Okay.
Dr. Dufour's son, I think, lost, and I heard he's going to challenge it or something like that. But
the father created it for him, so he shouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, but
yes.
The statement you made about Dr. Dufour's son using Mahama's, it was a fake Photoshop. They came out to say.
You sure?
It wasn't.
He said it wasn't true.
Yeah, they said it wasn't from their account. But these things are all part of the political.
It's part of the political process. Right? Okay, great.
And I think you should let me react to what they've said.
Okay, go ahead. With a quick call, because I want us to talk some Galamsey for about 30 minutes before we leave.
Yeah. So one of the things I was talking about President Mahama and when Mahama was vice president, yes, there was the economic management committee, but we were told Mills formed the economic advisory committee as a parallel thing to the.
So there was an economic management team, and you are saying that there was a supplemental sort of team to
for whatever reason that is up to them. But
and who are those members? Who are those members?
Oh, they are there. I mean,
this is the first time I'm hearing it, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, we can go for the list and then bring it for listing too. But if you are saying that Kobina Dufour's advice was because of the vice president, then why did the economy dip when he became president? So that is a matter for debate and for you to answer on another platform, not right now.
Okay.
You see, right now, as far as the elections are concerned, I don't want us to be. Yes, we will talk about our development and stuff like that, but elections are about the future than the past.
Okay.
And it is important, you tell us how you would do certain things other than I'm experienced, I've done it before, and I'm going to do it. And I mean that we haven't seen that in actual fact. So we should also not shift from what the democratic process is right now. I think today the focus should be on you strengthening the foundations of our political parties, you see, which is the NDC, which is very, very important. The competition should be allowed. The electoral processes that they are complaining about. We cannot dismiss all that Kobnadofor has raised. Remember, he quoted a meeting that was chaired by Doa Jaho. Doa Jaho is one of the finest we've had in the country as an MP and as a Speaker of Parliament. So you sit down with him. These are people that know processes and stuff like that. So do not dismiss him. Do not poo-poo him. It is very important that we have to allow competition and dissent, because that is the only way we will know that, okay, if this is the way we are going, then the other one that is coming also helps. And you see, in election, there are going to be winners and there are going to be losers. You have to have a good winner and you have to have a good loser. If you entertain bad winners and bad losers, that is also going to affect. I mean, with these hitches and these things coming up, what the party needs to do is to sit down and see that, okay, so if we've been able to sail through this time, next time, how do we go about it? Because you are not always going to get somebody that will, despite all this, you see, his problem was that, okay, we have a grievance to resolve, we've met, but then you are going on with the process, you are distributing this thing, you are doing this, you are doing that. So I mean, it is like, okay, we see there's a problem, but you're not going to mind me because
Yeah, but my
your
concern
agenda
with
or
him
whatever
is
it is.
he seemed to be hands off. He seemed to.
No, he wasn't. Yeah, you see, he wasn't going to win. He wasn't. But he was also not going to sit down, seeing that there are challenges with the process, and then not say anything about it.
Okay. Does he not
Nobody
have
will do that.
representatives that, if he goes into these meetings and the decision is made, that his reps will be helping implement those things as well? Because
Okay,
yeah.
Amuzu. Everything is a process. So if the rep sees something, the rep cannot make decision for Dufour. There has to be a meeting. And when even Dufour is informed, you see, these are processes. When Dufour is informed, he cannot out of the blue issue something. He also has to have a meeting. They need evidence. By the time you gather this, and it has taken time. So look at it this way. He was given an album. They went to analyze it, right? Then they discovered something. They've had a meeting. All these things take time to put together. So all that I'm saying is that, you see, these are things that builds the institution, the criticisms. Do it this way, do it that way. Other than that, we would have had the first iPhone that came, we would have had the same iPhone. The first car that came, we would have had the same. But when people use it, they come, hey, this, and then there are a lot of it. So you don't listen to this, somebody dashes to another car or another phone and uses that one. So that is very, very important. Now, having said this, if you think you are ready for us in 2024, we are. In 2024, it is not a boot for boot, it is not a war, okay? Bring the policies, bring the ideas, tell us how you're going to do it. Let us debate the issues and leave the voters to vote.
Right.
No boot for boot. It is ideas, sharing of ideas. Let's go, and then when we get the mandate, we implement and give the good people of Ghana what they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, let's switch quickly to Galamsey. Okay, so over the couple of weeks that we've been off air, a lot has happened in the area of our fight on illegal mining. There was a report that emerged, apparently to have been something that was given to the president for several months by his then Minister of Environment, Dr. Frimpong. Is it Frimpong Barton?
Yes.
And there were so many allegations in there. Gabby's name came out. Gabby being the cousin of the president, supporting a company that is involved in prospecting, which according to the claim by Gabby himself, but apparently they were not doing just prospecting; they were mining and etc. So many different other allegations of, people in the Jubilee House directly engaged in Galamsey, although they come to tell us that, they are fighting Galamsey. Let me start from, I don't know if Kojo is still on. Kojo, are you still on? All right, if Kojo is not ready, I could take Kojo. If you're still on, let me know. If Kojo is now on, let me take
I
Professor.
am, but I am a little bit busy.
Okay, no problem.
There, I'll be the last one.
Professor. Okay, Professor. Professor. Professor, I'm talking now about Dr. Lawrence. Dr. Lawrence. Dr. Lawrence.
Yeah.
We've known that the fight on Galamsey hasn't been taken seriously, but are you amazed at what you saw in the report that was at Earth by, I believe Kevin Taylor was one of those who were talking on this thing a lot, and all of a sudden, a lot of the time when Kevin speaks, people write him off. People say, "Oh, Kevin, he's just insulting," but some of the things he says or some of the things he reveals are really true. They come out to be true.
Yeah.
Are you amazed by what you've seen in the revelations with regards to the report that was submitted to the president and the fact that the president sat on it? Are you surprised?
Well, I don't know whether I should say I'm surprised, but you see, this president has never taken the country serious. That is something we should know. As soon as he won his second term, he ceased to take the country serious.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you said you have put your presidency on the line to fight Galamsey. And because of that, you think somebody who was fighting Galamsey for you was not doing a good job. So you fire him. Now, when you fired him, he presented a report to you about what he did as the minister for the environment.
Right.
And gave it to the chief of staff to be given to you. Of course, if something gets to the chief of staff, we know it gets to the president, whether we like it or not. I mean, this is not something debatable.
Right.
So the president had this thing in 2021. Immediately, he sacked Professor Frimpong Boateng. And you see, the strange thing about the whole thing is that the president pretended like he never saw any such report. That is what is annoying.
Right.
You see, that is what is annoying.
Yeah, because after he got the report, he actually even made appearances where he spoke as though
nothing was going on.
Yeah.
You see, that's what is annoying. And he had, according to Professor Frimpong Boateng, he met with the president and told the president that your cursing Gabi Ochidako is defending people who are doing illegal mining.
Right.
And the president told him that he would deal with Gabi Ochidako. And that ended the conversation. And Gabi Ochidako himself has come forward to admit that he is the lawyer for those for that company that Gabi Ochidako is trying to throw dust into the eyes of the Ghanaian people by saying they have the license to prospect, when in actual fact they are digging for gold.
Right.
They are doing Galamsey. They are doing so. If they are digging for gold and they don't have the license to dig for gold, but have license to only prospect, it means they are doing illegal mining. And that is why we call the Galamsey. So the president, the amazing thing is that he pretended like he didn't see this report.
Mm-hmm.
And that should tell every Ghanaian that this government, led by Nana Akufo-Addo, can never, ever win the war on Galamsey.
Mm-hmm.
They can't. I mean, you see, Amuzu, maybe let me take a little time here, maybe 2 minutes more. This government of MPP cannot win the fight against Galamsey because they all are involved in Galamsey mining. They are all,
Right.
from the presidency to the regional ministers to the district ministers, district chief executives, to the party chairman, to the party secretaries at the constituency and district levels. They are all involved.
Well, nothing in the report says the president himself is involved, although there are indications that he may know people involved, that people working for him directly are involved, that has been reported to him several times and he hasn't done anything to it. So you can infer. So you can infer from that he's involved, right?
So, Amuzu, do you want Dr. Lawrence to tell you that from what you have said, I should tell you that the president is not involved?
Yeah, I'm just saying it's
even
different.
When what's his name? When Wafayao got married, even he is in New York and I'm in Virginia. But when he got married, I decided to leave my white beard. Do you see? So whatever it is, there is a relationship. And I am telling you that this government of Nana Akufo-Addo can never win this fight. It will take a new leader and it will take a new party to win the fight against Galamsey. And why do I say that? Because, Mr. Muzu, the fight against Galamsey is not on the ground, so it's not with the chiefs, so it is with the Lands Commission. It is the Lands Commission that gives licenses to people to go and do the Galamsey. Because once they give them the license, they go to the chiefs, then they will tell the chiefs that we have the license to come and mine. The land is for you, the chief, but whatever is beneath the land is for the government. And the government has given us license to come and take whatever is beneath the land and go away. And so the hands of the chiefs are tied. And before
most of this were actually happening in the forest, the reserves forest that's my understanding is you can't even go and plant potato there. You can't even do any other thing there because they are reserved. That's where the Galamsey was actually more prevalent.
And this is why I'm telling you that this government of Nana Akufo-Addo can never win this fight against Galamsey, because from the presidency to the last party executive at the branch level, they are all involved. Right. So I think that for us to fight and win this war on Galamsey, there should be a new president and there should be a new party. Now, when we have a new president from John Mahama, and we have a new party, the NDC, because they haven't been involved so much in Galamsey, we don't know how rich it is. Do you understand? So immediately the president is elected, the first person he should appoint or fire to win the war against Galamsey is the head of the Lands Commission. He should fire this man who Nana Akufo-Addo has put there. Now, when he fires him, then he should put embargo on all mining, whether legal, illegal, small scale, whatever scale it is. Embargo on all mining. I mean, this is the only way we can be serious in fighting Galamsey. Nana Akufo-Addo stopped, put a hold on Galamsey and introduced community mining. And that was where Professor Frimpong Boateng was able to tell the whole world that Patinu Yeska. I mean, how can a party here and then you say you are fighting that the same thing that is giving the party money, you are fighting it? I mean, how can you win? And then one of your original chairman, Chairman Wuntumi, had Akunta mining, and the whole president was at a press conference with these bishops or whatever they call them, and he was defending Akunta mining. So he couldn't even hide his feeling.
Well, you don't bite the hand that feeds you, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We need a new president, and we need a new party to fight and win this war.
But the new president you're suggesting even say he's gonna even make it happen more.
No. You see, this is the same thing they did with Okada when we said we're going to legalize Okada. You see, and then the MPP started talking stuff about Okada. You see, because this is what I am saying, that if you want to win the fight against Galamsey, you have to fire the current head of the Lands Commission.
Right.
Do you understand? And then put in place somebody who you think can regularize the operations, put a halt on Galamsey, seize all licenses, or put a stop to all prospecting, whatever they call it, mining, prospecting, whatever, and begin to put in place, regularize the process where you can identify those who are actually doing the prospecting and those who are actually mining. And in fact, the stopping should be like between six months to 1 year. No mining, no matter what it is, and let Ghana go broke. And let Ghana go broke, and let's see. Understand? So, and to do that, this government of Nana Akufo-Addo, this party of MPP can never do that.
So they must be replaced.
It's just like corruption. This government of Nana Akufo-Addo, this party of MPP can never get out of corruption. They are keeping it right from the Jubilee House to the last party executive at the constituency level.
Great. Let me bring you in, Kojo. Kojo, are you less busy to tackle this? Doc is suggesting that we need to fire the head of Lands Commission. But we also see the military heavily involved in protecting the illegal miners. We can't just fire members of our military. But what do we do? Do we fire the head of chief of staff or whatever leadership the military have? Because for the military that is supposed to provide defense for the country, to actually help the perpetrators of destruction of the country's environment, it's counterintuitive. It's appalling. What do we do to those? In addition to getting rid of maybe the Lands Commission, the head of Land Commission, who perhaps have deterred on their job, didn't do their job well by issuing these licenses that perhaps were supposed to be prospecting licenses, but that are getting used for the substantive mining. Should we be firing both leaderships of those two institutions?
Oh, was it to me?
That was to offer you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
And if you coming after him, okay? Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. With regards to Galamsey, like my boss have said, in fact, Galamsey actually MPP and Akufo-Addo cannot stop Galamsey. simply because they are deeply involved in it. You could recall that in 2017, when they won power and they came to government, it was that who first tweeted, and he said, Charity will not leave Akufo-Addo if he doesn't win the fight against Galamsey. That was Gabriel Tredakun's tweet. The first time they made their mind they were going to fight Galamsey. Then the president also came out and also said that he was going to put his presidency on the line in fighting against Galamsey. Look at this from this coming from the big men of the land. The president and the prime minister himself. That is the prime minister. Of this thing that who plays a major role. This president the fight against Galamsey for everything will not leave it. And then he also look at this Abuzu. It means that they were telling us that actually they were going to do the job. They were going to put in much effort in order to do what? To curb the menace, in order to fight the canker. But what do we see what do we see the other round? All that we saw was that they suppressed the indigenous people. The people that the commoners, let me use that word. The commoners that were doing their local Galamsey a little to feed themselves and their family, using it, they were relying on the land that their forefathers left them, right? They were depending on it. And as a matter of fact, Galamsey is also a business in Ghana. It's a profession. Let me put it that way. That people are using to do a little to feed themselves and that. Fine. We are going to stop them. Let's stop it. Because they are destroying the water body. You now turn around and then it became a business for the government in power. And look at the list Professor Frimpong Boati brought. The Galamsey kingpins. The names are what? Captain Koda, Yaosafo Mafo, Honorable George Kwame Abuaji, David Esuya, we have Chasni Tego, Francasi Edu Bequin, Gabi Otredakun, Kojo Opon Kruma, Sir John, SK Buapu, the SK Buapu that has double names and double mother and double identity is also involved. Eko Awusi, Setmante, Lord Comey, Akufo-Addo, the president and the vice president are all involved. Then these two guys were left in, but let me add them, they were also involved. John Buadu and Anabi. These are all big top guns in the government. Amuzu, if these are the names that Professor Frimpong Boati is presenting that they are doing Galamsey, then it means that Galamsey can never be stopped. Because these are top guns in government. Have you seen it? That is why Lord Comey, am I on air?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you are. Lawrence is saying that, okay, of course we have those big people, but there's a technocrat at Lands Commission who, when power changes hand, will not be gone, right? So somehow we need to get rid of that person. And I'm adding the military. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that is why I'm saying that I'm coming there. These people are all top guns who have rather involved themselves in doing the Galamsey, in causing more harm. The menace is being continued to peddle around because of these people. Instead of them rather to help the government fight, they are rather doing it because it has become a lucrative venture and they are making a lot of money. Like you stated earlier, that company, that the Askia company that was involved in Galamsey, they were doing prospecting. And Gabi Otredakun is their lawyer. Can you imagine this? A company that was doing prospecting doesn't give you a license. Amuzu, you are aware, right? Prospecting doesn't give you a license. You have to do prospecting, you have to do due diligence, you have to obtain a mining license, you have to also do what? You do that due diligence prospecting before obtaining mining license. Have you seen a permit? Then you obtain a permit. All these things would cost them money, of which because it will cost them a lot of money. They were dodging all that. And right away from prospecting, you are not supposed to mine, you don't have a license. And they were mining. And Gabi Otredakun was the one defending them. And if somebody who is so powerful, who is known as the prime minister, is defending you from the plaster house, what will you do? You continue to mess up the country.
Well, I want you to add that what you're saying is your opinion, right?
Because that's what. Yeah, I'm coming to that. So I'm just trying to establish something. You know, it was the same company that Major Mahama was going to protect and they killed him. It was that company, Gabi Otredakun was protecting for them to do galamsey. So your question, what we are trying to say is that all those people are dead. You know the reason why all those things are not working. Like we have the gallant stuff, right? The army you are talking about. The army have also been given a role to play by these kingpins, these big guns. They were directing the army to go and protect people that don't have license, and they were mining, especially the foreign mining company. Have you seen it? When they get the money, they take it to their bosses in the plaster house. Otridakun, when Professor what do you call him? Professor Frimpong Boateng stops people from going to mine, Gabriel Otridakun will take his phone call and tell Professor Frimpong Boateng that he should allow them to go and mine. Have you seen it? So
Right.
this was the problem. Frimpong Boateng laid his hands, was very firm that he wanted to stop it. But once he's trying to tackle the people will call Gabriel Otridakun in the plaster house. Then Gabriel Otridakun will take his phone call and call Frimpong Boateng because Frimpong Boateng is accounting to them. Have you seen it?
Okay.
So that is the situation. So as my boss said, as for Galamsey, MPP can never stop it until the new government will come, NDC will come. Because these people, they are deeply involved in it and it's a lucrative venture. They have made so many millions. Look at the number of gold that they see. Have they accounted one to somebody? No. And all the excavators, 500 that have gotten developed wings and have flew to Burkina, like the way they said the Guinea fowl flew to Burkina, they shared it among themselves and they sent it back to the villages into the people's own land, and they were used to mine for themselves. What kind of cheating is this, Amuzu? What kind of government is this? Have you seen the whole thing now? So you suppress the indigenous people from doing the little that they can use to feed their family, and you, the government machinery, have now taken over, and you are making money, billions of money into your pocket.
Right.
So how do you call this government? This is purely, if this is not stealing, direct stealing from the people, what can we say about it? Okay. So Professor Frimpong Boateng, like if you listen to him, he stopped it because his own people were fighting him for him to leave it so that they could continue with the job. And that is what they were doing.
Cool.
So it is only the NDC and Mahama come 2024 when we come that will be able to fight it. Like you are saying, we'll fire the land commission people, all the people there, they are all involved, and we'll fire them and then we'll put a better strategy in order to regulate it. Like we said in our 2020 manifesto, we're going to regularize it and put policies there that will regulate it so that ordinary people can also mine and be able to feed their family. Today they are all dead. Though. A lot of people are dead because of galamsey. And it's through the work of Agu Kwadu and the MPP government. Shambolic governance ever in the history of Ghana.
Okay, good. Efa, let me bring you in on this one. Efa, there is a doctor who recently came out to say he's a pathologist, and when mothers, pregnant women, due to one complication or the other, pass on, he goes to, or they called him to come and remove the babies from the dead body. And most of the time, it is to see whether you can save the baby. Sometimes that is possible. Other times, the baby dies since they can't really survive in a dead body. So in that process, he found that the placenta that connects, which is the connection between the baby and the mother, the way that is how the baby gets feed, oxygen, and all that stuff. He found out that the placenta, it's usually is from those people those dying around the Galamsey areas. Their placenta has mercury and all these other metals or chemicals that are being used to mine in those artisanal mining situations, that those chemicals were being found in the women. Some of the babies will come with just one eye in the middle of their forehead. Some of them will have their legs growing on their hips, some arm growing in different places, and so on and so forth. That is the impact we are seeing from. It's just another revelation of how Galamsey is impacting us as a people, not only in the revenue we are losing, but health-wise, we are seeing the results. When this report was presented to the president, or when it was revealed that he got this report, the president says the report only contained grievances that Dr. Frimpong Boateng had with people. That means he's not even taking this seriously. Women are dying. They are drinking water that is contaminated with mercury. We are losing money out of this. And the president promises that he's fighting it. Meanwhile, when a report comes to his desk, the president is saying it is just grievances being compiled by somebody who he uses the taxpayers' money to pay to compile this report. Are you telling us that you pay this guy to compile a report full of his own grievances? Does it look like the president is taking us for a joke, or he's actually taking his job seriously? Over to you, Afa.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Amazon. So to start with, right, the way we are going about the Galamsey issue is only going to get worse. Okay. No one seemed to be interested in how we fight it, but it is more of whose name has been mentioned and how do we either do a media talk or media crucifixion of it, and accusations and counter accusations, you saying this, we saying that, and all that kind of stuff. And the result is what we are seeing. So Nana Addo made all these promises to fight Galamsey, and he actually did put a committee in place to work on it. Okay, so Dr. Frimpong, Professor Frimpong issued his report, and then the Jubilee House also, after 2 years, made came out with a statement on the report, calling it grievances and all that kind of stuff.
Catalog of grievances.
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, our mothers are dying with babies with one eye in their stomach.
That is even the health aspect, that health, the environmental, the effect on agric and food and all that kind of stuff. We will come to that, but I want us to deal with the issue of Galamsey. See, I don't like the way we've treated Professor's report. Okay, so if it is the case that the report is inaccurate or is incomplete or whatever it is, where do we go from here? Because as we speak, the menace is still ongoing.
When you say where do we go from here, we the people or the people in power?
You see,
because
so
we obviously,
so as a government and as a people, you see, the whole discussion on Galamsey is very despicable. Okay, we are not fighting it. So the government is doing its part, and the commentary that is coming is that, okay, so we don't really see Galamsey being fought as was promised or as it should be, right? But the result shouldn't be when we come, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. You see, the NDC seemed to be pontificating that, okay, they are the best ones, like Dr. Lawrence said, and is adding on to it that they will do this, they will do that.
In your opinion, forget about NDC in this particular case.
This is all a fallacy.
In your opinion, and we are not talking about...
as a country, we are not fighting it.
This government has commissioned sort of an inquiry into how we should deal with Galamsey. Form an interministerial committee. The chairperson of that committee provided a report to the government for 2 years. Okay. The government came out when it finally emerged that such a report actually existed. The government came out to say, oh, by the way, The monies that we've spent to actually commission this committee and all the work they did was just a compilation of grievances of the chairman.
So
I want you to evaluate this government and not the NDC and not the people doing it.
You see, I am not going to evaluate the government, but I am disappointed in the way we are fighting the Galamsey.
Who is we?
So, excuse me.
Who we fighting Galamsey?
As a country. You see, here's my point. Okay, so let's say NDC is hoping to come to power.
If I bear in mind that
hold on.
A country has a government.
Yes, but you see, if we put the blame on us right now, okay? If you put the blame on us right now, okay, so another NDA are coming in, nothing will change. I don't see it coming.
No, you don't. I mean, we are saying you can. I mean, if we get there, we'll cross that bridge, right?
No,
right now we are.
No. You see, that is where we are failing. You see,
are you finding it difficult? Are you finding it difficult to evaluate the current state of the fight against Galamsey? Because that's the question I believe I'm asking. I'm trying to get you to say that we are doing it right, we are not doing it right, and here are the people who are spending the taxpayers' money to do it, and perhaps they are succeeding or they are not succeeding. You are trying to shift that to somebody who's not in charge, and whether they are going to come, whatever they're going to come do, whether it will succeed or not. I mean, we are not there. You want to wait until we get there. I'm saying the people who have the ball in their hand right now, how are they playing it?
I am not shifting. What I'm saying is that we are not fighting Galamsey right now the way we should fight it. Okay? All that we've said, that, okay, so we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Not that nothing has been done. Something has been done. So a report has been generated, right? If the report is inaccurate or is incomplete, I want to see the next step to it. Okay, so what next do we? That is the question we should be asking.
Well, the president said that the report is a grievance it's just a catalog of grievances.
Okay, so a catalog of grievance is a problem that needs to be solved. Okay? When people are making statements, they are talking about problems and grievance, whatever word you want to use. So my point is not, you see, we seem to be standing on the report and we want to say, oh, because he said that we are using it more for politics than to fix. Okay, so if this is not the accurate report, if this is not what we are expecting, where do we go from here? I mean, that is what I want to hear from my government, because we are still in power and there's something we can do. But what is happening tells you that, you see,
we are starting another committee to look into the reports.
I don't know what it has to be. I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense because we said a committee.
But for me, no, hold on. For me, you see, we are tackling Galamsey from a very wrong source or from a very wrong point. Okay. Normally, what we see is that we go to site and we see people there, and then we hear videos of excavators bent, and that is not how I want to see Galamsey fought. Okay. One of it is what I think Dr. Lawrence said is the Lands Commission. But it is not only the Lands Commission. When the Lands Commission has issued the license, whether for prospecting, for mining, or whatever it is, there are other agencies there. Where is the environmental agency doing as far as these things are concerned? What is the Minerals Commission also doing as far as this? There are a lot of, people that are supposed to be in charge of this. The places where they are mining, the chiefs that are over there, our security agencies, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Land, all these people have roles to play in there. Okay. And the final aspect of it is that, and I am so disappointed in is, you go there and you catch the worker that is working. But meanwhile, the license belongs to somebody somewhere, maybe in Chicago, called Kakape, or in Bono East, or we have never heard of any specific person being taken on. What we hear is that when their tools and whatever equipment are destroyed, then we hear them take it up. So
the chairman of the Ashanti Regional Branch of NPP is heavily involved in Galamsey. He's a self-confessed person he self-confirms that he does that.
Yeah, so that is a matter
So
for us.
if we are looking for a person
Authorities have
to
come out, including the president, say he's not. So sometimes we can continue to play this politics, and then we're not gonna go anywhere. Okay. So all that I'm saying is that we still continue to see destruction of forest and stuff like that, and the chairman of the committee has made all these points. Okay, so we have to continue to ask for answers and not wait that. Okay, so upon Nkrumah's name has been mentioned, this person's has been mentioned, and stuff like that. So
the people whose name have been mentioned are the people in power. Like the presidency is involved in Galamsey. Who's going to do what about that?
Oh, but you see, if you say the president is
the citizens arrest the president.
No. If you say the president, you see, sometimes some of these things are just political.
Upon Nkrumah is the president's information minister. His name has been mentioned as doing Galamsey.
He has responded to it, and then
that he's not doing Galamsey.
So there has been all the people whose names were mentioned. They've all responded to it. Okay. What I'm saying is that it doesn't have to be something we play this kind of stuff with. Okay. We have to go on to the next step. Okay. They've denied. So what do? The next thing is the evidence and other things that point to this and that and that. But for me, mentioning names and all that, for me, it's immaterial to me. Now, when you go there, you issue a license, a specific place called whatever to this license holder. Okay.
So wrap up on that so I can bring in Kojo and then we get out of here.
And you deal with. Now, hold on. So, having said this, when we come, we are going to fire this, we are going to fire this. That is not what Mahama is saying. That is not what NDC officials are saying.
No, I'm not worried about Mahama yet.
Hold on.
Let's bring in Kojo and then we move.
And I have everything to. They can't paint themselves white and then, hey, Mahama is going to come, whoever is going to come, and the same thing is going to happen because we are not tackling it from its source. Okay. Mahama has gone out to say that when he comes, he's going to give.
Say your government is not tackling it from its source. Say your government is not tackling it.
No, Mahama said that when he comes, he will give the licenses that have been taken back to the people to go and mine. Kwakubwa, he went out and told the people that, okay, this is what they're going to do. Now, in Professor Tumpong Boateng's report, he said emphatically that there are more NDC people in Galamsey than others. So how are you going to sack your people? When Mahama is talking about giving people a Nyeman Ketenkete, then big one like Galamsey, he's going to take them out. What sort of lie is that?
All right, let me wrap up for me. Let me bring you this guy.
We laugh. No, Amuzu, this I'm very passionate about. We are laughing. But at the end of the day, there are things that as a country we can come together and push and make sure that we are fighting this. Now, the Galamsey issue is like the drug industry. It is like the cocaine, the weed, and stuff like that. There are cartels in there. There's a huge money involved in there. So when we box it out here, instead of tackling it, instead of pushing for authorities to deal with it, and we play politics with it, because most of the leaders that are supposed to be fighting these things are enjoying it. Right. So how do you expect them to fight it? Okay. So when you put it on one person, that it is the government and it's not doing this, no, that is not the way to go.
Okay. Let me bring in
and ask what next? This is the way we do it. But we don't see that coming in because they are also enjoying it. And everyone else is enjoying it. And how do you expect it to be fixed?
Okay. Let me bring in Kojo. Kojo, the NDC guys are saying the only way you actually stop this thing is to vote out the MPP. Vote them out. Do you not agree?
No, I don't. And I think I will side with my Deputy Director of Communication, see, Amazon. If we can speak truth to power, when did this very Galamsey team really intensify in Ghana? Galamsey have always been with us. since I was born.
Intensifying under this government.
I know this has always. No, it really intensified when the NDC came into power the second time.
The river bodies didn't go this bad. There were people wearing like
no. I'm gonna see.
Guys, we are all witnesses to this thing, so you can't tell us.
You see, this is why Nana Akufo-Addo is not taking Ghanaians serious.
Because you are sitting here making us sound like as if Galamsey was bad in the 2016.
Everybody was talking. I was quiet. Why don't you?
Because you were
misinforming us. That's why we have to let you know. You are misinforming us, so we have to kind of kill that as we hear it.
I'm not in this point informing you. Let me just go to the point first. If we say about government, who's government and what is government? Don't we have NDC members in parliament? Are they not part of government?
No, we're talking about ruling. When we say government, we're talking about
executive
government. Executive.
Yeah, you are now making emphasis on a ruling government. You were just saying government. So who's government?
Don't play address. You are playing games with us. Like we are all sophisticated enough to know what we are talking about. Nobody is saying we are talking about the. Don't play games with us.
Amuzu, let him make his statement, and then
he's misinforming. He's misinforming. I owe it to my
listeners. But what he's saying is not misinformation. No, you are rather heckling.
Let him make his information. You see, listen, his point. Amuzu, you are learning to be a lawyer. You're not a lawyer yet. And you take somebody's report without giving any evidence to an allegation, and you are saying the presidency is involved in what I'm saying. Is that how you portray? I can just accuse you of something and I'm guilty of without any evidence.
Okay, you bring my name in, so I'm gonna come. I'm gonna respond.
No, hold on. I just made an inference to you, but I'm not calling you to come in.
What you said is significant. I can't let that go. You said I am just taking a report from somebody, and I'm saying because the president is mentioned, this is a report that was commissioned by the president himself using the taxpayers' money. I believe him when he said the president is in doing Galamsey. I don't have to wait for any other thing. This is not just anybody's report.
You done?
Yeah.
We have 5 members. We have 5 members on this panel. If we have to issue a report, can you just write the report and give it to us? Say, hey, I wrote a report and it's binding by all of us. It was interministerial committee. Why did one person write the report?
He's the chairman of the committee. What are you even defending? I don't get it.
No.
Yeah, but the report said NDC. There are 5 NDC people in Galamsey and others. So how about that?
I don't get what this guy. I don't get what you're trying to say. You're trying to say that the report should be written by all the ministry. He's the chairman of the committee. Every ministry provide their inputs to him. He put it together and put the report together. What is the chairman supposed to be doing? Supervising and making sure he's getting information from everybody else, right?
I mean, listen, you asked the question, you want him to answer for you, right? You might not, whatever you're saying on there, that's not the truth. We don't have the truth. Me and you, both of us don't have the truth.
The truth is in Freeport's reports.
I don't know. I just don't want to go back and forth with you on that. You've made your mind, and the media have made their mind. There is always that way when any government is in power. And the reason why I say I settled with my brother Ifa was that we've been saying this when the NDC was there. There was a task force when the NDC was in power. We had people's name mentioned that they were doing Galamsey. There was no evidence to show back off of that. And then we said we fight it. And then we came back and then people's name being mentioned. And then on likely event, NDC changes. You think me and Dr. Lawrence are sitting down here doesn't know that the NDC people are making Galamsey and people are making Galamsey. We know. How do we fight it? That's the most important. That's what I wanted to come up with. Drawing something to come to a point that we as a country, we are not fighting the way we're supposed to be fighting the thing. But it's always convenient for us to use names of any political party members to their political power. And once we come back, we'll do the same. Forgetting one thing, that former President Mahama cannot go all over the country fighting government.
You love to switch this into former. You love to switch this thing to former President Mahama, right?
You not even let me talk.
I'm saying.
Why do you ask the question?
Well,
you don't even let me finish my sentence.
I ask you a question, but you like to switch. You like to change the question to former President Mahama.
I'm not doing exams here, man.
You are telling me. No, you are telling me that. You are telling me that.
I am not doing exams.
The MPP government put together a committee.
Where you will mark me.
Hold on. I'm getting the question for you. You are telling me that the NDC government put together MPP ministers to develop a report, right, for the opposition to point to develop a report that sounds like it was done by the opposition. This is not a report that the NDC put together. This is the report of the current government.
Yes.
Their own reports. That is pointing finger to their own people.
Yeah. First of all, I'm not a student of your class that are being marked here, right? I am not answering questions to your satisfaction. I am answering questions to the audience that are listening to us. You are the host of the show. I understand that, and I believe in you for hosting the show. But I don't answer questions to satisfy you. If I have to do that, it will be me and you arguing or debating on something. You ask me a question.
I owe it to my listeners. I owe it to my listeners to make sure there are clarifications.
The listeners also have those big brains that you have, that they can differentiate when somebody is being propaganda or not, or is telling the truth or not. So you should allow me to flow so that the listeners will make their own decisions.
And you should stop telling me how to.
Am I saying the right thing or I am not?
You should stop telling me how to host my show.
You are
telling me how to host my show. I invited you to my show to answer questions I ask you. If I caveat the question, however, if you're gonna answer it, answer. If you're not gonna answer it,
yeah, but he's answering, and Amuzu, you are heckling him.
It's my show. It's my show, my friend. If I ask you a question, you are answering, and I feel like you are misinforming my listeners.
It's my job. It's
my job.
Anybody. It is true. I can read from the report. I can read from the report.
He's telling us that. He's telling us that
it is stated in the report. All these things are in the report.
In fact, he's telling me that why am I using a report without any evidence? And I'm saying that this is a report that was organized by the president of, and the report is supposed to be done by multiple ministries. So I'm not supposed to believe that report. I need
all of you are saying the same thing. Now, allegations have been made without the evidence, and the people are asking.
This is not allegation. I think you guys are using This is not an allegation. It's a finding by multiple
it doesn't
ministries.
work like that, Amuzu. No. You see, here is where you are. A committee's report cannot be taken as final. It doesn't work like that.
What are we paying the committee for? We are paying the committee to come and speculate to us.
Okay.
Are we paying the committee to come and speculate?
This report, then it is given to appropriate institutions to carry on for that.
Which one of them are the appropriate institution? The Minister of Defense, Minister of Mining, Minister of Labor, all these people, Minister of Lands, all these people are in a committee and they release the report. You are saying we should give that report to which other appropriate institution?
There is no.
Okay, how many people wrote this report? Do you know, apart from Professor, who else was part of it? Who else was part of it?
The professor is the professor.
No. Apart from the professor, who else wrote this? Who else?
The professor is the chairman of the committee. Who
else wrote this?
He's the chairman of the interministerial committee.
With this understanding,
we are part of those who wrote this report.
Mr. Muzuman
discussing the issue to do with the Galamsey.
That is why we have the problem.
And you want a particular narrative. That is our problem.
We are saying that we brought a Minister of Defense, Minister of Lands, we put a chairman on top of them. They all work, they provided that information to the chairman and they compile a report. You are telling me that we have to go give that report to another.
Amuzu, where did they say that this report was written by all the committee members, including the chairman? Can you give me any reference, please?
So you are saying this report is just Professor what do you call it?
You normally want to have.
Mr. Muzu, when it comes to this Galamsey fight, the MPP look very ridiculous.
Yeah, this guys. I mean, it is fair that you want to defend your committee, but we are not stupid. So don't come and just tell us anything.
Yeah, but nobody is stupid here.
They don't want to accept. They don't want to accept their own view. They don't want to. They don't want to accept their failure.
Guys, I think
you want us to say what you want to hear.
No, it's not what I want to hear.
I don't know what is in your head for us to give you that. They don't work like that.
They don't want to accept their own.
But you have to discuss it. You see,
they want to defend
Galamsey as if it started from 2017.
They want to defend their own failure.
And it is stated in the report.
You see, they are struggling. They are struggling.
Yeah, they want to defend their own failure. That's why they are struggling.
At the end of the day,
they are
whatever
struggling.
we want to discuss is still there. Okay.
Let's
but
do
you
the
cannot
last
say
words.
that only government officials were mentioned in this report. No, that's not true.
Nobody said that.
Okay. And then,
you believe that the other people who were mentioned,
when he's trying to connect it with the NDC, saying that they kind of have established it and they don't have the moral right to do it, then you don't want to hear that.
What I'm saying to you is that, right, the people who are fingered in the report are the hierarchy of our government. These are the people with the power.
They have variously issued the report. That's why I'm saying that, okay, after they've all seemed to say, okay, no, this is something wrong, this is a misconception, then where do we go from there?
Okay, you see, I'm quiet for you to finish what you have to say.
But you think that because they've been issued, they are in there, they must go to prison or what? I don't even understand what. Well, so the Minister of Information's name has been mentioned, so he goes to prison.
But
or what?
Don't you think at this point? Don't you think at this point all those people whose name are mentioned in the report should be in prison by now? Don't you think?
How? Is that how it works? So the president should not be a judge and put them in prison.
Wow.
I'm
amazed by your position, your posture here, both of you. Imagine that we have people whose actions
and this they are defending all this one.
Yeah. I mean, guys, I know you belong to the political party, but
I've never defended Galamsey.
You are defending your people. You are defending the government.
Anyway, guys, let's wrap it up.
You are here and saying that somebody's name has been mentioned in the report, so the person should be in prison. Why is Mahama walking when his name has been mentioned in the report?
Oh my God. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up.
Why is he walking?
Look, innocent young youth that were seen doing Galamsey, they have been in prison. Some are dead right now, and you people are doing it.
Who is in prison? So who put them there?
The indigenous people. Is it not your people? Is it not your government? Is it not your government?
So everybody goes up there, catching somebody and put them.
All right, guys, let's get out of here. Let's take last words from Dr. Lawrence first. Dr. Lawrence, give us your last words. Leave us your last messages. If you know anybody else who won that you would like to share with us, please do so. This has been the show for today, May 13th. Dr. Lawrence, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, briefly, we talked about two things, the NDC elections and the pull out of Dr. Dufour from the presidential race. And my position is that NDC won after the elections. At the end of the day, may the better candidates win, and may we not see losers in this parliamentary elections. At the end of the day, let all of us come together. Because the bigger picture is for NDC to come to power in 2024.
Right.
Concerning Dufour, Dr. Dufour's withdrawal from the race, I have said it that NDC should not jubilate yet. NDC should not mourn yet, because there could be other issues behind the scenes that we are not aware of. Dr. Dufour came forward on camera and said the reason why he withdrew, which, I mean, can be anything else. But if Dr. Dufour, who has gone throughout the country campaigning, decides to form a party or decides to go independent, it might not be well for the NDC. NDC should do everything possible to keep Dr. Dufour in the party and make sure that he plays his role as one of the leading members of the party. And we were solving Galamsey. I mean, talking about how to solve Galamsey, I have stated my position that one, NPP cannot stop Galamsey. And then two, Nana Akufo-Addo cannot stop Galamsey, because the whole presidency, including Nana Akufo-Addo, is involved in Galamsey. And it will take a new face, a new president, and a new party, the NDC, to win the fight against Galamsey. And I have put out my solution or my solutions. And one of the main solutions is that I don't care about the technocrats at the Lands Commission. All of them, when NDC comes to power in 2025, all of them should be swept away and brought in new faces, new people who don't know money, who don't know Galamsey, who don't know how prosperous and how rich doing Galamsey can be, so that they can start from the scratch, put meritorium on the what do you call it, mining of Galamsey, whether illegal, no Galamsey. And because if the Lands Commission does not give license to people, they can't go to the bush. And if they don't go to the bush, they can't go and tell the chief that we have the license to come and prospect or whatever. So the fight against Galamsey should start from the Lands Commission. Once we're able to take care of all the people at the Lands Commission and brought in new people, everything starts anew. I believe that is the way we can solve this Galamsey issue. But NPP, Nana Akufo-Addo, forget it. They can never fix it, because they are deep inside the fight. I mean, they are deep inside the mining of the Galamsey. Thank you very, very much, everybody.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. And you're looking nice with a beer, so hopefully you decide to keep that. All right.
Yeah, so long as Wafaya continues
remains married.
Yeah, he remains married. Yeah.
If he gets a second wife, I don't know what you will do. But
well, no, Wafaya is not that type. He won't go for a second wife.
All right. Wafaya, are you sure you're not?
Where are the ridiculous NPP people?
They ran away.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
They decided to quit us. Anyway.
No, they'll come
hopefully
back.
they can. Yeah, hopefully they can come back soon. Wafaya, are you getting a second wife soon?
Oh no, not at all.
Okay. Give us your last words. Let's go.
Okay, thank you very much. Like my boss said, we spoke about our primaries. That I know they are still on it, and we're praying that it will come to an end successfully. And as my boss said, whoever emerges winner, it is NDC that have won. At the end of the day, we are not going to have a loser, but we all know my boss, President Mahama, is winning about 99.something%. We need that, and we need that to prove to the whole our opponents that we are ever ready for the battle come 2024 to rescue the good people of Ghana. He's a nation builder. He has done it before. He has been tried and tested, like I said when I was making my submission. If you look under the Fourth Republic, you see, there is something unique about Mahama. He's not the one who is rushing for Gavin to be the flag bearer and wanted to become president again. Whatever Mahama has achieved is enough for him. Have you seen it? Should it be him alone? You'll be sleeping somewhere and be looking at his grandchildren. But the good people of Ghana, Ghanaians that have seen the good work that he has done, just within his 4 years, they are yearning for his coming back to come and continue those good works. This is what will make this country to be a better place for us all. Unlike our people in government now that have messed up the whole country, when they classify him as incompetent, when total debt was 120 billion, and today it's 600 billion. Mahama borrowed about 90, and look at the mighty things he has done. Terminal 3, 100, 200 secondary schools at various stages of completion. What do we call it? Roads, market, airports, and all these, Amuzu. These are what create jobs for the citizenry. Have you seen it? When Mahama is in power, all artisans work. Amuzu, this is one particular thing that is asking the entire country to rally behind Mahama to come back. Masons work, carpenters work, what do you call it? Plumbers work. Everybody is at work because infrastructure will be going on. And all these people are being employed. We get direct employment, we get indirect employment. Have you gotten it? But today, as I speak, 600 billion have been borrowed. 100% have been increased to our debt stock. Nothing to show. They can show you toilet and a polytank. The country has been taken back 20 years instead of progressing. We are retrogressing 20 years. And this is what Ghanaians are, that's what Ghanaians are saying, including with the NDC saying, let the nation builder come steer again and take us to the promised land. Akufo-Addo promised heaven in 2016 with sugar-coated words, cajoling words, wooing all the people in the country with it, and they were able to buy it. Today, Ghanaians are, you can see, Baumia will tell us that in 2016, importers are suffering, teacher trainees are suffering, nursing trainees are suffering, importers are suffering, the whole market women are suffering, Makola women are suffering. Today, Amuzu, it is Makola women are dying, teacher trainees are dying, nursing trainees are dying, importers are dying, market women are dying, drivers are dying, and the whole company, the whole country is dying, including Baumia and Samira Baumia herself. Have you seen it? So Ghanaians want us to move away from the dying that we are dying and go back to the suffering. It is better for you to suffer than to die. Today, they have dug a hole and they are pushing all of us in. So it will take only all of us to rally behind Mahama, the nation builder who will be elected today, so that we'll rescue the country and then take the country from these people so that we'll go back and so that you put us back on track like we used to be in 2016. So in ending up, all that we are saying is NDC will be the winner today. There is no loser, like my boss said. Before whatsoever is a winner, whatever comes the case. The bigger picture is the MPP, who is our enemy. There is no enemy within the NDC. We have to be united. We have to come together, pull ourselves together, all hands on deck, so that we'll be able to rescue power from the useless ever government we have ever seen in the total Ghana. As for the Fourth Republic, some of us have seen it. We can't compare to the other ones, but under the Fourth Republic, if we are talking about a government that is not, it is Akufo-Addo and the Baumia government. Meanwhile, they saw themselves as the repository of all knowledge. They were coming to change the country. They have rather taken the country back for 20 years. That need to be redeemed by you and I, including everybody in the country. And that is what we are all hoping for. Today, we end our elections. The flag bearer, the MP, the parliamentary, whoever loses, whoever wins, they are all winners. Let's come together, unite, be a formidable front, and fight the enemy, which is Akufo-Addo, Baumia, and the MPP. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you stopping by today to grace the show. The submissions have been great from both Dr. Lawrence, yourself, I really appreciate you for coming. For Yao, I appreciate you for stopping by. You usually don't get the time, so doing it today was great. Let's also take the last word from Efa Amayao before we go. Efa, if you can hear me, please take it over, and then that's your last words.
Yeah, I can hear you very clearly. I was getting a little disappointed getting to the end of the show, but that's sometimes you get tense, and that's how it goes. So, and to clarify that, okay, so when we're making a point, let us make our point. Okay, we don't believe we are lying. We believe we are presenting facts, and we want to stretch out as far as we can go. Today we've discussed the NDC and the issue of Galamsey. So when it comes to the NDC, yes, we've seen a lot of reforms in the party. They're doing a good job, but they still have a long way to go. Right. A very important point is so far so good, but still they have to learn to be a little democratic when it comes to their presidential. If that is the style they want to go, that is perfectly fine. But that is very dangerous for our democracy, and that part is not democratic enough. I've seen a few skirmishes. I've seen some few fights. The violence has been less, to be fair to them, but it is also important that at all times, see, the political parties and people competing would have to know that there's going to be one winner. So you must be prepared. You must be ready. If you have any reason to believe that you've been cheated, there are structures and there are processes put in place for people to use. So they should always use the structures. Right. Last but not the least, MPP, we believe we're going to break the 8. We're going to break it peacefully. So this 2024 elections is not war, it's not boot, it's not nothing. No, nobody should go out and have a scratch on his skin. Let us learn from our previous experience and improve upon our electoral processes. When I listened to the chairman of the NDC, I saw a rigging machine put in place that the NDC is aware of, and they don't want to make it available for us to put in place the necessary reforms to be able to, have a clean elections. If they want to exhibit that, at least we are analyzing his interview with some of these media houses with regards to how these names were. Kwabena Miao is a female and Yam Ponsa is a male and all type of stuff. We will analyze it, and that is also going to help us further, stretch the margin of victory that we're going to have in 2024.
Thank God, the NDC is not the EC, right?
So that is what is going to happen. Now, on the issue of Galamsey, I would not prosecute just the report. The issue is bigger than the report, and that if we want to fight it, we have to fight it holistically. If you are just going to say, oh, he said this person's name has been mentioned, that has been mentioned. For me, it is something, yes, we can stand on that. But I see political actors, potential government officials, people in opposition and stuff like that. They are all enjoying. It has become something that has become nationalistic in nature, and it fights. It is not only the NDC. If the NDC comes and they say they have a commitment to fight it, which I don't see, and they're doing it, and they're not going to get a cooperation from MPP, it's not going to work. So this is a situation where it has encompassed every aspect, all aspects of our life. The chiefs can't say anything. People in certain positions can't do certain things. Military, police, and this you see, and that they are fighting, and you don't really see the fight. So in tackling it, you have to go a different way other than pinpointing and Nana Akufo-Addo and Mahama and this and this. We will do the politics, we will color it, and at the end of the day, those who are enjoying will continue to enjoy. That is what we wanted to bring. It goes beyond this report. And it has to be a full cooperation by everybody, and the churches, everybody, all of them have to get in. It is not prayer. Go there, pray as if some miracle is going to come from somewhere. No. Okay, and let us continue to ask the questions and be committed. The people that are supposed to help us fight are only taking advantage of it because they think somebody's name has been mentioned and all that kind of. We can continue to do that, and we will come here 10 years and be discussing, and there will be more deformities, there will be more health issues, and there will be more that. And then the generations to come later are those who are going to come and either clean up or come and do what they need to do to fix that. So, yeah, it's been a great show. I always want to be here, but hosts, be fair to us. Thank you.
I offer to you. Anyway, all right, let's go. Kojo DC, over to you, my
To
friend.
to my opposition.
Now you have the floor. No interruption. So go.
That's fine. It has always been like that on here, so I'm used to it.
You should be
To
used
my
to it by now. Yeah.
to my friend Justice Tete, he always says something, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it's true. Yesterday, it's true today, and it will always stand the truth. He said,
Mm-hmm.
"Politics is about marketing." So when you market yourself well, that's where people buy into your marketing style all the way. You turn lemon to a lemonade. That's where you get the vote. So that is what
I
you
see.
have to
I
also
see.
understand.
I see how.
I'm not influencing anything to you, but we come here to debate. We come here as politicians. Remember, I am an organizer of a political party. I'm a
Absolutely.
spokesperson for a political party. I don't come here and listen to whatever host any journalist will ask me, and I'll say, "Yeah, I concur with you." No, I have to defend my party. So please, when this time, yes, sometimes if I say something that you think is untruth, just don't say untruth, but it have to be provided with. I will quote my senior brother Kokubako with better particulars. Okay, let's start put aside. All right, and then allow me to flow. And like I said, I understand the way things work on your show. You want to go back and forth. I like that way. It gives me that brain to work 24/7, where I can also dodge those questions so that I can know how to speak to my audience. I'm speaking to my audience. So you also understand that as well. All right, for the NDC, I think I would say still congratulations to them. I think it's not yet done. There's still about 16 more that after this they're going to go ahead and reorganize themselves for the elections. Let's hope, like my brother if I said, everything is being. I'll give them like say 85% for now because they haven't done that, so they've done a good job. Let's hope that it flows the way it's supposed to be, and then at the end of the day, the only problem is that like I initially said when we started the program, and can do fear some. But if you are not able to collect their own results, that will be informed on us on 2024 when they've lost. They'll say, "Oh, they tell us we don't want to hear that." Please put your house in order. The incompetency is still manifesting, like Alfred said earlier on. I didn't want to even to use that, but once Alfred used it, I think I'll borrow it from you. That the incompetency is still manifesting even in opposition. Cannot even collate or organize your own election, internal election, which is bad. But in all, they've done a good job. Talking about Galamsey, right, Alfred? This is a menace that is going on. That it needs a collective, I mean, a collective effort of MPP, NDC, civil society organization, churches, pastors, imams, traditional leaders, and then the orientation of the Ghanaian people. Without that, we can come here every day, talk, say whatever we want to say, pinpoint fingers on it. And my father always say, if you point your finger on somebody, remember there are five that is coming on to you. Do we believe as Ghanaians, as politicians, both political parties, that if government has to change hands today, there won't be Sami Jenfis, there won't be Broja Jenfis when the election time going around telling people, "Oh, this is our time. We have to make the money." I know Dr. Lawrence will concur with me. I know you, Alfred, will concur with me. I know Ofaya will do the same with me. The reason is that we don't have that political will in both parties. And that is the truth to fight this. If we have, and both of us put ourselves together, this thing will end in a minute. But if we do, people are not going to make money. So we will not do it. And it's all about money, like my brother Efa said. Comes down to money, greed. And that is the only thing that is affecting our country. It's taking our culture away. It's taking everything that we all value and cherish. Now everything is individualism. like it never used to be like that. People don't really care about much of our money, but now everything is about money. If you have money, you have power. You can do whatever you can get political power, and that is the problem that we have. So we need a orientation of the Ghanaian people. Other than that, we can blame all politicians, like I was trying to say. President Mahama, former President Mahama, cannot go around and stop Galamsey. Neither can President Kufuor, President Kufuor, President Baumia or Alan or whoever becomes another president. It has to be a collective of all of us willing to fight this menace that is affecting people. I know. Go to my home country, Chevia Papa. Brim, when I was growing up, I drink beer. Now nobody drinks beer. Why? Because everybody's scared of the chemical. People are buying pure water to do everything. And it's not just in my hometown. Go to Takwa, everywhere you go, the thing is happening. But for now, people are just thinking about money. At the end of the day, when people start having one limb, one that being cut, and people are there, I think it's happening already. I think people will then come back to their sense that we can't just look for money just like that and blame others. Oh, this is a politician, is the president, is the minister. Yes, they are being called, they are given a task to make sure they work on it. But at the end of the day, what are we doing as citizens? What are we doing? And that's the question that we have to ask ourselves. And not just blaming the politicians of both sides. Because tomorrow when they come, me and you will come sit here and talk. And I'll defend my party. Yes, we've done a lot. Is it enough? No. We can do better than we are doing now. And once again, thank you for your listeners. Thank you, Amuzu, yourself, my brother, Opayao, Dr. Lawrence, me and him here in Virginia, and then Ifa yourself. So thank you. We'll meet next week. And then thank you again. It's a good show to be on.
All right. Thank you. And I wanted to take the time to appreciate all of you for making the time to stick with me for 2 hours. Deliberating on these issues. They are difficult, they are not easy ones, Galamsey, etc. We congratulate all the winners in the NDC. And we want to thank all our viewers too for tuning in. It's been a great show. Again, my name is Alfred Amuzu. If it is Saturday, you know it's the Ghana Agenda time. We'll be back next week for another round of issues occurring in Ghana. And please tell a friend to tell a friend that the Ghana Agenda is on every Saturday. We discuss some very important things. The things we discussed today are very key. People are dying. People are having still babies. Babies are having limbs grown on very odd parts of their body. Strange things are happening. The water is poisoned. The mercuries and all kinds of acids being found in, mothers. And we at some point have to kind of decide as a nation that this need to stop. And whether it's going to take the politician or even just the ordinary person doing it, I find it hard to say that the ordinary person has the power to, because we vote people into power and we give them money so that they can put the right check and balances in place. We can leave governance to the ordinary person. The ordinary person can wish, but without the means, they can't really do much about it. That's why we vote people into power. So I think it's about time we make it sort of a covenant that our elected officials have to take, that they first of all themselves will not participate in Galamsey, because you are put in charge of this. If you yourself you are participating in it, then it's a lost game from even before it starts. We are never going to win it if our government officials are participating. Matter of fact, the covenants should say if a government official is found doing Galamsey, they should be executed. I mean, it's a stream, but it will set the right signals. Anyway, my name is Alfred Amuzu. Congratulations to all the NDC MP elects, and also to the former president John Dramani Mahama, since it looks like he's going to win. We'll be back next week. Again, if it is Saturday, it's Ghana Agenda. We are out. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.